OpenAI just released a new model that will destroy Google Translate, Siri, and Alexa, and many more. And it's free for everyone. But it was quite buggy, and it doesn't seem to be the game changer that many people were hoping for. Let's dig in. The event was hosted by OpenAI CTO Mira Murati, and they announced a brand new model called GPT4o. The O standing for omnimodal, which is, I guess, the new word for multimodal, which means that it can understand voice and it can understand image and it can understand video. These functions are built into the model itself. Previously, they were using 3 different models that were all having to talk to each other, which was causing latency. They say the new model is available to all free users and on the API. But this does, of course, beg the question, what is it that paid users are actually paying for, if not to guarantee access to the best model? In any case, the omnimodal model does seem to perform exceptionally well across voice, image, and video. The team ran through a few different demos, which were slightly buggy at times, but nonetheless incredibly impressive. They say it's much faster, and from the demos it certainly does seem to be. You are also able to interrupt the model when it's talking, which is something that you've never been able to do before, and frankly was quite frustrating with the previous one. The demos will also have many tech companies extremely worried. You can now basically have a real-time conversation with a voice agent that understands the emotion in your voice, and you can interrupt with no lag. So that does mean that Google Translate, Siri, and Alexa will all be watching and will all be pretty worried. And it's not just tech companies. You can really see how this kind of technology would really disrupt pretty much anything that involves talking to another person. Things like therapists, things like customer service agents, things like emergency services operators, even doctors. The list is endless. Some people do appear to be a bit worried that it wasn't the game-changing update in reasoning and intelligence capability, which I can understand, but I also think that you kind of need to take a step back and think just how insane this level of technology would have seemed just a few years ago. And it really is a window into the future. That intelligence layer in between humans and the things that the humans want to do is going to be so easy and so useful that you really can imagine this kind of technology just being everywhere. And once we have autonomous driving and like humanoid robots, we really are going to be living in like a sci-fi fantasy land. We'll be interacting with AI basically everywhere you go. So I predict that well within 10 years, the average human will probably spend more time vocally interacting with other AIs than he does with other human beings. So overall, this announcement was really about iterative improvement across the board. The big wow moment has passed. We know this technology exists now, and we know how impressive it is that you can have a conversation with it. So we're never going to be as shocked as we were when GPT first came out. So it's now about opening up the ecosystem and iteratively working on all of the different features and ironing out the little annoyances, such as the time delay that you used to have with voice. So I think this is actually a pretty huge step change, but I think we'll really notice that much more as we start using it day to day. I think the average person will find many, many more use cases to inject this AI intelligence layer into their lives. I know I certainly will. Finally, I also just want to thank one of the recent commenters on one of my previous videos who raised a point that I think is quite relevant here about the displacement of jobs that I spoke about earlier. Because this technology certainly will get rid of many thousands, if not millions of jobs. And there will be knock-on implications for things like taxes and things like society as we know it. The hope is, of course, that it creates many more jobs than it destroys, but we can't be certain of that. Sam Altman himself actually suggested that we might want to end up giving everybody a slice of GPT compute to use as they wish, as a kind of universal basic income, but in compute form. So we could live in a mad world where everybody is this kind of AI-powered superhuman. But I suspect the Pareto distribution will remain, and most of the riches from AI will continue to accrue with those few people who really know how to maximize its capabilities. But of course, that remains to be seen. if you want to be featured at the end of one of my future videos, then I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. I will try to pull out the best comments and address them at the end of my videos in future. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.